Well, another episode of Chicago Hill. I'm LaShawn Ford, and you know where I'm coming from, straight from the west side of Chicago, the Austin community. Meleika, what's up? Where you at?
It's Meleika coming from the North Shore, Evanston.
Evanston, Meleika,
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, what's going on in Evanston? You guys got red light cameras in Evanston?
You know, I think they tried to do something like that, but I think the people weren't for it. So if we do, I am not aware of it, but we definitely have some corruption. And I heard Frank talking about busting Chicago corruption, and I would love for him to come to Evanston and bust some corruption.
Wait a minute, Meleika. There's no corruption in Evanston. We got a guest that we're going to bring on, Frank Coconate. Wait, how you say your name? Coconate. How you say Coconate, man. Coconate, my Italian brother. You're Italian, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Italian and proud.
That's right. So
Yes.
today we're going to talk about, part of the show will be about the red light cameras. You know, Meleika, for years, I've asked for us in Illinois, especially Chicago, to suspend the red light cameras because I know that it's unfair, and it was actually started under a cloud and continues to be under a cloud. Let's go straight to a clip about this, and then we'll bring Frank on to talk about.
Critics of those red light cameras that are popping up all over the city and suburbs are now piling on today after the former mayor of Oak Brook Terrace was indicted on federal charges in an alleged bribery scheme. Roseanne has the strong reaction that is now pouring in.
Former Oak Brook Terrace Mayor Tony Rigucci faces charges in a red light camera scheme. Now, he's accused of accepting thousands of dollars in cash to allow those red light cameras at an intersection near Oak Brook Mall. Prosecutors say it was a scheme that allowed him to skim money from the revenue generated by that camera. And critics of traffic cameras, both red light and speed cameras, say it's just more evidence that they're more of a money grab than a safety tool. The city of Chicago, for example, issued more than 2.8 million speeding tickets last year alone. That's more tickets than there are residents, according to the Illinois Policy Institute. And those cameras brought the city $89 million in fines. And traffic cameras are multiplying all across the city and suburbs. The city's own map showing locations in virtually every neighborhood. 160 speed cameras and 300 red light cameras.
We haven't gotten safer streets, but we absolutely have ruined people's lives with these tickets while corrupt politicians are getting kickbacks. I think the question for Springfield needs to be, how many more corruption indictments do we need surrounding red light cameras to prove that politicians can't use this tool responsibly?
Well, Meleika, you know, there was a report that came out and it talked about, I think that it said that the city officials made 89, and that's the city of Chicago, 89 million by giving out 2.8 million fines to drivers going 6 miles per hour over. 6 miles per hour over. That's a change. The current mayor, Lori Lightfoot, recently changed the speed camera threshold from 10 miles per hour to 6. That's been very, very challenging for Chicago drivers. And today we have a guest on the show, Frank Coconate, man.
Coconate.
Coconate.
Italians speak like they're singing coconati.
Coconut, like an Italian dish.
So Frank, you know, you and I, we've been on this, we've known each other for a very long time.
Long time.
I think I knew you when you had hair.
I had hair and I was skinnier and I was younger. We were at Bridge School protesting class sizes when you were a teacher that everybody loved.
That's right.
Yeah, you got a lot of people out there. Even the media was surprised.
Yes, Frank, I tell you, you like fine wine. You get better with time. So congratulations on your constant fight for fairness in the city. And I really appreciate the fact that you never give up. So what's your take on this red light camera, not just Chicago, but all of Illinois?
What I find is from day one, like you did, these things were never accepted by Cook County, Chicago, and Illinois. There's not one person I know when you go out there and talk to people that like these things. It was first brought on by, you know, what you explained. It was supposed to make things safer, and then, you know, the revenue was out of control that it's bringing in, and it's just like it almost becomes another tax. But now with these indictments by the FBI, which keeps everything close to the vest, you know, now's the time more than ever to go along with what you're saying. You know, so let's suspend this program until this investigation is over. I just, it's almost bizarre when I think it's Safe Speed. I don't want to, you know, indict myself, but Safe Speed is still in business. They're still giving out. I get a ticket, me and my wife and my kids, because there's a couple cars in my name. At least I want to say, I'll be even once a month. But anyway, I've been fighting this for 2 years to take these cameras or stop the operations of these cameras. Everybody is against them. And, you know, if you wanted to pick an issue that we could all agree on, blacks, whites, Hispanics, gays, transgenders, everybody, we want these cameras suspended. They are a awful program. And now more than ever, with the indictment of Ragucci, actually in Oak Brook, they're taking it down. It's just recently the trustee there, Mike Manzo, got the camera to be taken down in Oak Brook. This is what should be going on all through Chicago, Cook County, and the state. And I'm here today because we're all talking about it. You are, LaShawn. We're not on the same page. We should all be working as one, you know, especially in Springfield. That's who's got the power to stop this stuff. And we should all be working together. You as a leader bring on a lot of people. There's other people out. We should all be working together. Enough now. This is the most insulting thing there is going on, besides everything else in this town. But these cameras have been a thorn, have been an insult to people since day one.
Yeah, but Meleika, wherever you go, I'm agreeing that these cameras should be suspended until it could be instituted with some type of agreement with the taxpayers. But, you know, Meleika, of course, people are not going to like the cameras if it causes them to pay a fine. Wherever you go in the United States of America, it seems like they have these cameras now. And so I think that to say that we no longer have cameras, I think that that would be a stretch. But suspending them until we know that the institution has been implemented fairly and equitably across the city and across the state, it might be the best approach, especially when we know that there's been a cloud over the cameras, not just in Oak Brook, but in Chicago. So why would we keep allowing a system that we know has been corrupted to continue to traumatize the city?
I was blown away with how much revenue came in from that. Like that can't be possible that many people were in violation. It's just so wrong. It just reeks corruption. It just reeks.
Rosemont, Illinois, Rosemont brings in 24 million a year from a couple cameras. And they actually caught one of the cameras being like, you know, it's almost like the old days where the cop used to sit in the bushes waiting for you to go, you know, 30 miles per hour. It's a camera over on Higgins. And it's such a, you know, people from out of town, because a lot of people go to Rosemont, they don't even know they got the tickets till they get back home. And they don't even know how they got 24 million a year. I mean, geez.
It's not fair.
Ridiculous.
It's not fair. You should not be traumatized as a taxpayer that's paying $5, sometimes $6 a gallon for gas. And, you know,
Exactly.
And now you're faced with being a target by your municipalities. Wherever you go, you could go through. This is why, Frank, what you're saying about we got to come together to figure something out, because in Chicago, if you go 6 miles over the speed limit, you could get a ticket. you will get a ticket. But if
Right.
you go to
That's crazy.
another suburb or another town right next door, nobody knows what they could do in this state, because from city to city, municipality to municipality, things change.
Right, right. And that's like I'm saying, you could lead this charge about, reworking this, suspending it. And because, like I said, it's an issue for everybody. Everybody is so, I don't know about others, but $100, $150 or whatever, and that builds up fast if you don't pay right. That's a lot of money for people. That's a lot of money where people are just trying to, like you say, buy gas, buy food. I mean, it's insulting. And when you get home, you go to the mailbox. Now you see City of Chicago revenue. You go, oh God, here we go. You open it. They got the picture. They got all this technology. One thing you did bring up: the cameras are a good source, I guess. It violates a lot of civil rights and a lot of, but it also it's helpful with crime. They use these cameras. I'm assuming when there's a killing or a robbery, they try to use these cameras to follow people, follow actions. But for traffic,
that's good. Let's use them,
which is good. No, which is good. They have them on corners where there's a lot of crime, and they are. I got to admit, they are useful for that. I really, but man, like you said, by these schools and these parks, you don't even know it. Sometimes you're driving, all of a sudden, boom, the light goes like an alien hits you.
But Meleika, what about if you are going 6 miles over the speed limit in Chicago? That's a ticket. That's a fine. Really? Right. 6 miles over? I know people that call me all the time, and they've gotten literally 10 tickets in 1 month,
right?
Because they went 6 miles over.
Right.
Is 6 miles over, Frank, that fast?
No, I don't think so. And most people don't. And that's the thing. Where's the input from the public? I mean, they come up with these figures. A small group of people come up with this figure, but the public isn't asked. There's no public hearings. There's no outreach from the people saying, hey, this is what they're looking at. They just boom. It's especially in Chicago. Another quick point I want to make, because I know we don't have a lot of time. Why is this company still in business when they knowingly are giving bribes to people?
What company? You calling out a company? What company?
I think it's Safe Speed.
Speed, right.
Safe Speed. Mm-hmm. They are caught giving bribes to Rigucci. By the way, Rigucci there was some organized crime ties there too. That the guy died, but he was getting a cut in Oprah. But where is their responsibility? If you go bribe a cop, if you go say, hey, here's $20, you get in trouble for that. You're breaking the law. You're bribe. If I go to a politician and say, here, do this for me, that you're just as guilty as everybody. If you go pay a prostitute, you're just as guilty. This company knowingly by the FBI bribed Rigucci and the guy in Crestwood and the guy in Lyons, and the investigation, we don't know where it's going. It's continually going. Why are they still in business? Where's the FBI to step up and say, hey, you know what? Suspend these people right now. Let's suspend them. If I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago, there was a guy in Chinatown, I don't want to say his name, running the transportation that took bribes during the Daley and Emanuel administration when this first came on. Nothing was really, the city council really didn't say, hey, we better investigate this. It's something that I guess it's hard to, ignore the revenue. They love the revenue that's coming in. They don't want to give it up.
Well, then let's be right there. What do we do for these cities and municipalities? How do you replace that revenue? That's the question that everyone should come together and talk about how you replace it. And taxpayers should have a say in how that revenue is going to be be replaced. And Meleika, you were saying
that is government corruption. I mean, because that's why we can't fight it, because there's so much money being made.
Right.
And then they're like, well, how are you going to replace it? I mean, I watch aldermen on city council all the time, they know what they're doing is wrong, but the question is always, well, how are you going to replace this revenue? We're bringing in too much revenue. So then, then you have the good alderman versus the bad alderman.
Right.
They're like, well, you can be creative. There's got to be another way. We shouldn't be taxing. We shouldn't be taxing the people like this, especially at a time like this. Gas prices are up and it's crazy. And then my question as a driver, if you can only go 6 miles over the speed limit, so you got your slow lane, you got this other lane, and then you got the fast lane. So then what's really the difference in the lanes if you can only go really 5 miles over?
That doesn't apply. So think about this, Meleika. Fast lane, slow lane. If you go in that fast lane, you're gonna get a ticket.
It's gonna cost you, $60 just to go to the grocery store or go somewhere. And then you got the bike lanes. You got to worry about them too. And actually, I'm surprised they're not giving tickets to the people on the bikes. With
they could go 30
cameras.
Think about it. So the speed limit in these areas where the trap is 25 miles per hour, which means that if you go 6 miles over, that's 31 miles per hour. What the heck? You telling me
that's slow?
That's slow.
That is slow.
I'm gonna get a ticket.
You have people. I could see it when they're all of a sudden, they're like crew are creeping, like it's like a bomb zone. Like slow and keep quiet. You know what I mean? Because it's just ridiculous.
So 31 miles per hour will cost you $60, and guess what, Frank? If you don't pay it, it could double.
Yes.
You talk about the crime doesn't fit the punishment. And I really know for a fact that, I've always fought against the doubling of tickets. It's a attack on families. The system is an attack on families because as a father, I know what I could do with $60 or $120. That's just one. And they say, well, you should learn your lesson. Well, it's very challenging because you never know what's happening in these cities. So, Frank, I mean, what about people that should know better and they should do better? They know. Just go 30 miles, go 30 miles, not 30.
It's just here. There's a House bill now by a Republican that wants to give some ammo to the taxpayer, and she's been reaching out to everybody. She asked me to talk to you, but at least gives the taxpayer some ammo. Are you aware of this House bill? And if not, we could talk about
what does
it later.
it do? I mean, I'm pretty much aware of the bills about red light cameras. What's the bill?
The bill basically gives the taxpayer, when they go to the hearing officer, say, there's a investigation, there's corruption involved, and I should be allowed not to pay the fine. Yeah. It basically says something to that effect. I just got it the other day.
Okay.
And that's actually why I reached out to you in the first place. But it's at least something we can go to the taxpayers and it can be reworked and it can be taught. But see, that's why I went to you. I know you have an outreach to try to give the taxpayers at least something to fight this.
Yeah.
Fight this.
And we're ready to
talking about. Go ahead.
We're ready to do that fight. Before you finish that, I want to go back because it's very important what Meleika said, taxes. In order for us to raise taxes in the state, we have to vote on that.
Okay.
And I know that this is not a tax. This is a fine. And, this is not good for taxpayers. It's horrible for families during even when inflation is not happening, the cost of living continues to rise.
Right.
And when we see families being gouged by the city, it's not just, look, in Chicago, not only do we have, Frank, a problem with red light cameras, we got parking meter problems, we have the building court problems. I mean, at every turn, if you live in the city of Chicago, you're being attacked by the very city that you live in and pay your taxes.
And LaShawn, it's wrecking the city. People are they don't even want to go in their car. People from that will spend money. It's almost a negative effect because they're not coming in here to spend. Because I've talked to many. I'm not driving through your city. I'm not driving. It's going to cost me $100, if I go by one of them, because they don't know where these cameras are. They don't know a lot of the, when you're coming from Oak Brook or you're coming from Des Plaines. And even though they might have them, they don't have them like we have them here. I mean, it's just, you're driving and boom, that light goes off, boom. And it's like, it's hurting us. It's hurting the city. I believe it's got an adverse effect on revenue because they're not coming here. A lot of people don't want to even come here.
And why aren't they putting up more signs to let you know when the speed limit has changed? Because I have many times been like, wait, what's the speed limit? Am I over? Where are we?
That's a good point. That may be a violation of a person's right, because I think the law states that you have to give notice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I thought of that, Meleika.
Yeah, Meleika, LaShawn, great point. Hey, like the one in Rosemont, that's what they complain about. There's no warning. And, that's a great point because at least warn us a little bit. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And you know what? Just think about this. If I'm driving and I only make minimum wage and I get a ticket and I can't afford to pay the ticket before it doubles, you talk about a day's pay possibly that I have to give the city to keep my car from getting a boot.
Right.
Because it gets deeper and deeper with the city of Chicago. You're going to get a boot, then you're going to get your car towed, then you're going to not be able to go to work. And then you lose your car, and now you're in bankruptcy because you got these tickets, you can't pay your car note.
Oh. It happens. You hear a guy, a girl, a woman, anybody, you're making minimum wage, you get one of these tickets, you got other priorities. You're going to say, I'm not paying this, ticket. And now, like you said, it builds. Pretty soon it's a couple $1,000s, and they're not going to pay the couple thousand. They're not going to get a payment plan where you're getting juiced or, extra money. And it turns into a huge problem, and it shouldn't be. And like I said, and I'll say it again, it hurts all of us. It's not a black issue. It's not a white issue. It's not a rich issue. It's not a middle class. It's a poor. The poor people are the ones really getting hit. You ever go on one of these lines to pay this stuff? Most of it's minorities. It's minorities are getting whacked.
You know what, Frank? You sound like a true Italian. Where they getting whacked?
Whacked.
Getting whacked.
I shouldn't use that word.
So
too much Sopranos.
Yes. So I'm gonna tell you this: if I'm a voter in Chicago, I would say I'm not voting for anyone that will not stand with me to repeal or suspend the red light cameras and come to the community and build some type of relationship with the border cities and have a state task force to implement it fairly so that we have a fair system as it relates to red light cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's only right. And
Shawn, you're right. They have the knowledge. They have the know-how. They know where the danger areas are. They know where the high speed. That's where they naturally want safety at schools. A woman came up to me one day when I was out there talking over on Higgins. I think it was Higgins by a school. You know what? Why don't they just put these, those speed bumps are a pain in the butt. I mean, people are like, she says, why don't you put those little raised metal plastic things in school areas like they do on the highway so you don't fall asleep? Like, the car starts bump. Put those and say, hey, you know what? These are speed zones. Instead of you know, you don't, no warning, no nothing, you're getting hit. You know, they could come up with some other ideas and where to put these things, not all over, you know, this, I'm going to say the state, just to defend people out there, because they're calling me all the time. But especially Cook County and Chicago and in minority communities, there's a lot of them, lot of them. And they're getting, you know, and not to stereotype this, they don't have the money. They don't have the money, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I would stand behind you to spearhead something, some kind of. I know you're out there. I know you're trying to put something together, and I want to work with you. You know, I want to work with you. It's a huge issue, huge.
Listen, this is an attack on families, Meleika, and it's also an abusive relationship that the citizens of Chicago are dealing with the city. It's an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Yes.
They're being bullied, most definitely.
Yes. And you're right. They don't know what to do. They don't know, you know, like they're mad. They're, you know, they'll call the, and like I said, there's all opinions coming from all over, but let's get on the same page of a plan to say, you know what? I mean, ASAP. Hey, you know what? This FBI actually should really help us out here and stop this company, at least suspend it. But maybe that's what we should ask for. But everybody's got the opinions, but we need to get as one. You know what I mean? Everybody together saying, hey, we all agree on, well, at least we agree on this, suspend these cameras.
Oh, you know what? You know, Meleika, go ahead, Meleika.
I was gonna say, you know, I know that there is some red light cameras here on McCormick Boulevard, because when I'm going outside of the north side, I'll have my Siri directions on, and Siri will tell me where the red cameras are. Wow. She's like approaching red camera. So I'm like, should we have her on all the time? Everywhere we go.
We should have her helping us. But on the north side here, everywhere you go. I mean, you can talk to the Alderman Napolitano here. He puts his hands up. You talk to 38 Ward Spazzato, all the Italians.
Well,
they put their hands up.
You know what? Let me just say, you're not going to come on Chicago Hill without Meleika and I asking you about your size.
What do you mean?
You're Italian, and it seems like you have a problem with your size.
My size?
Size.
Oh, you mean how short we are?
No. I mean, you don't have the biggest.
Go there. Now you really caught me up.
I knew I would catch you off guard.
Lori Lightfoot, at least she brought it up. Hers is bigger than everybody's. But you know what? Getting back to that, and I know she won't come on your show, but she should. Her arguing was, and this is where everything got confused with the club, because I'm big on that too, by the way.
You're big. All right, hold on. Lori, Mayor Lightfoot, Frank Coconate said he's big.
Hey, you got me blushing. That's hard to do. You got me blushing. Hey, when she said that to the lawyer, which she denies, she actually was defending they wanted to take the statues. The Italians with the small wanted to take the statues. And she was just saying, you're not taking these. The city of Chicago controls these statues. And that's what's got lost in the translation, because she actually was trying to defend it, but it was, man, she was heard all over the world.
So, Meleika and I, and we're going to have to continue to talk about this. I think we have enough time, because this is really good, Meleika, when we talk about the history of the Italians, the accurate history of Italians. Meleika has worked on legislation with us in Springfield about the accuracy of American history.
Yeah.
And there are some thoughts, and we worked with Italians, we worked with the Jewish community, we worked with the LGBTQ plus community, and we worked with the Latinos, and we worked with Asians.
Asians.
Really brought everyone to the table to have an inclusive American history put in place for Illinois. Here's an opportunity for you, Frank, to tell us who are Italians.
Oh,
What's your history?
Italians are people, and just right off the top of my head, that came here, I would say around, and you don't quote me on it a lot, just from my own experience, it came around the 1900s. My family came here. We came here for a better world, a better life. We left Italy, which was all in shambles with different politics, the mob and the mafia, which they ended up bringing here. But anyway, they came here for a better life. When they come through, when they came to Chicago, we didn't speak the language. We spoke Italian, they spoke Italian. When the next generation were born, they said, you speak English. You're in a new country. This is our new world. You speak English. They wouldn't even teach us how to speak Italian. We came here. We were persecuted like every other race. We were thought of as a greasy, they called us Dagos. They called us greaseballs, spaghetti benders. They just attacked us when we first got here. We came into these neighborhoods. They were usually beat up already. The neighborhoods were bad. We built up neighborhoods. We worked hard. We didn't expect help from nobody because nobody was giving us help. We worked hard to build ourselves into a force, built up neighborhoods, made our own restaurants, build our own companies. We came up. We were proud to be Americans. We didn't expect any handouts. We did it on our own, our race, our nationality, and we're just very proud people. And we worked hard to empower ourselves. Businesses were, to us, we're the greatest singers, actors, writers, and just we're very proud people. So when something comes up like the Columbus thing, we were very offended. Like we're getting blamed for every everything bad in this country, and no other race or nationality is getting attacked like us, and it hurts us because we are very loving people. We're very welcoming people, but first and foremost, we're very proud people. And when things like this happen, it really sets us off. But we're people that, when I was growing up, my father told me, Frank, treat people like you want to be treated. Treat people as individuals. And in my day, there was a lot of racism, a lot of, there was hate here, hate there. And he told me, don't listen to all that. Treat the person how you want to be treated. No one should be treated bad. And that's the Italian way it was taught, because we were treated bad. So we're very proud. If I had to say one thing, and then we helped build this city. We worked hard. We were given nothing. We had to build the politicians in those days wouldn't give us anything till we got people elected. And that's another thing we did. We worked hard to get people elected, but also fight for us, fight for our rights. So that's the kind of people we started from. We assimilated into society. And right now we're very insulted, very what's going on, how we're getting blamed, and it hurts us.
Well, if it hurts you, it hurts the city, and it hurts all of us.
Right.
And what we need more is for people to respect one another and listen to one another. I think that part of the healing that Chicago needs is to start listening to each other's struggle.
Right.
Everybody has struggles. Everyone has challenges that they have overcome and continue to overcome. And I refuse, I don't know what Meleika would do here, but I refuse to even impose Black troubles in your discussion, because you have a right at this point. Meleika and I agree that we want to hear about the Italians and how you have made this city great and how you should be respected. And the question that people have is your love for Christopher Columbus. How could you love Christopher Columbus? Now, I'm not, who am I to tell you that you can't honor and respect the person. What's the love and what's your feeling about the hate towards Christopher Columbus in this country?
The what needs to be brought out too, none of us were there back then, and a lot of things that were going on. They were selling of slaves. The Indians were here, and actually no one was here. But if Christopher Columbus was bad, then everybody from Europe, everybody from the eastern parts were bad. Why is it just being said Columbus when anything going on in those days was about, there were slaves, they were selling selling human beings. There was a lot of bad things going on. It's part of history, which is good or bad. It's part of history. But this is how things were done. Okay. But why is it everything put on the onus? I know they're saying he's the first, he was a great explorer and a great, he did a lot of great things when nobody would do it. And the Italians were taught this man was very special, what he did, pushing and pushing and pushing to come and look for a new area because nobody knew it. Nobody knew what was out there. No one. And this is what we were taught. There was somebody we rallied around.
Do you think, well, the Native Americans, they don't want him celebrate? Yes, there were a lot of things going on during that time period. But I think what people question is, why is Christopher Columbus put in the spotlight as this man that discovered, America when the Indians were already here? So
right. And I'm just going to speak bluntly with you. Speak bluntly. The Native Americans, whatever, it wasn't just us fighting them, it was the French and everybody else. This is how the world was. Okay. The Native Americans were thought as, and I know people don't get offended, but if they do, they do, because we're offended. They were thought of as uncivilized and savages at those times. And they all weren't. They had their own, this was their land, and somebody infringed on them. But it was the way of the world. It was happening in Europe with the Romans, with the Greeks. You always
what's happening with Putin right now?
Right. He's moving in, and you don't see the world railing. They are, but what are we really doing?
What I find interesting, Meleika, that Frank said was, we were taught this. History taught you this. And so I think it's critical that we have accurate history. And Frank, you said something that was good. You said we have to accept the good and the bad of our history.
Right.
But in order to accept the good and the bad, we have to be taught the good and the bad.
And the bad, right.
And
the accuracy of it.
Accuracy of it. And Frank, the fact that, are you afraid to learn anything bad about Christopher Columbus if it was taught?
No.
You want to know, right?
I want to know.
And
I want to know.
Exactly right. And I think that's where we fail as a society. And that's why we have so much hate and racism, because we don't know. We haven't been taught accurate history. And you heard it straight from Frank's mouth in Italian that, we were taught this about Christopher Columbus. And now all of a sudden you want to pull the rug, and now you want to start saying that he's this, he's that. Well, why don't we have a discussion and look for the good in people? We could make sure that we have the good, the bad, and the ugly so that we understand one another better. You know what, Meleika, where the point is made that we probably need to take all statues down, because if we're looking for a perfect person, there's not going to be one.
No.
And the person that I love more than anything, and a person that I never met, is Dr. King. We know he wasn't perfect. The history tells us that he wasn't perfect, but he still did good.
Oh, he bridged people together, and That's why they killed him. They just
Yeah.
didn't want us working together. They killed. When I say
There's-
they, somebody killed that man, and it does. And in my youth, he was my generation. He was a hero because he was actually doing something to put people together.
There's a
And-
difference between what happens in a man or woman's personal life, but what they're doing for the collective, for the whole, for the masses, they're
right.
a different, a
You're right,
totally
you're
different
correct.
person.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here, and getting
yes.
back to here, like in Chicago, everybody has their, Ukrainians have their thing, the Greeks have their thing. All we're asking the mayor is, you know what, Little Italy was where most of the Italians came in on Taylor Street. All we're asking, the other organizations, whatever they're doing, because I really don't know what they're doing, what deals they're making. We're asking just to put back one of the statues. And most major cities still have the statue. And if you want a disclaimer, put it. I've said that from the beginning, but I was pushed out. I talked to some, African-American Black groups, and I said, put a disclaimer. It was said that this would happen, blah, blah, blah. So we can at least work together, because I'm working with somebody now that is very insulted by the Bud Billiken parade. They feel like we should have a Martin Luther King celebration or something and put it on Balboa Drive, something where everybody's involved. Now, and these are the things that we should be talking about. We should be working, as hokey and corny as it sounds, should be working together, not constantly dividing. And it's not just race and class and politics. You know what I mean? It's becoming ridiculous out there now.
Yeah. And Frank, we have about a minute left. You want to give us a closing on where you see the city going with all this crime and mayhem going on across the city?
It hurts me bad, like you, to see this city disintegrating. It's just, there's no leadership in City Hall or in the county. And I just see us without some severe changes coming up in these next elections, where we bring in some people that are a little more compassionate and want to build bridges, not separate. We're in trouble. The city is going to just, I can't see even big money saving it. It's just, we're in bad shape. And I just see us going right down the tubes unless we make some severe changes in our leadership and everybody working together. And otherwise, we're done. The city's over with. That's my personal opinion.
Well, Meleika, I got to get one plug out of him, though. We need to know this. What's the best Italian restaurant out in Chicago?
Wow.
Yeah,
well, let me tell you.
Trouble.
I know. Wow.
Let me tell you, I watch Italian cooking, I think almost every night. I watch Searching Italy with Tucci. I mean, I can't wait to get to Italy. Every part of Italy. It was like the food, my mouth just waters watching those
Meleika
cooking
and
shows.
Shawn, there's a lot of places, but if I take you guys to a restaurant up here, there's a place called Nonna Silvia's. It's right on the border of Park Ridge and Chicago. It's on Devon and Canfield. It's pretty authentic food. They got great service and very good food. If I had to pick. But I also like, from my old neighborhood, Salerno's. And it's nothing, people don't brag about it, but the food, to me, the chicken Parmesan is very good. And they have a scuttle and beans, it's called, that is very good. And it's on Grand and May. It's an old Italian neighborhood there. But those are the places, and we should go one day. We'll go eat.
All right. You know what's amazing? We're going to let you go, but I'm surprised you didn't say Olive Garden. But
that's an insult.
So thank you very much, Frank, for being with us. And thank you for your fight always. I mean, for your fight for this city, for the county. You have always been true and always fought for what's right and fair Thank you, my Italian
Thank you,
brother.
LaShawn. Thank you, Meleika.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Coconati. Yes.
Coconati. All right. See you later, Frank.
Italian dish out of their name.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
All right. This has been another episode of Chicago Hill, and I can feel it coming our way. Chicago will begin to come together, black, white, brown, you name it, gay, straight. Chicago can heal, Meleika.
Yes, it can. And my last word for today is watch the speed limit.
It cost you. All right. We'll catch you on the next episode of Chicago Hill.